Okay, we need to talk about what is going on right now on social media. I have never, in my gorgeous 10 years working in influencer marketing, social media, I have never seen the amount of algorithm changes, platform changes, trends coming and going with a gust of wind. ChatGPT has changed absolutely everything for creators, brands, businesses, podcasters, and we need to do a new segment over here, over at Busy Blooming, over at work, where we do a State of the Union on what is going on social media. So you can know what needs to come across your desk, comes across your desk, and you know what you need to know, you know what's going on, so you can feel equipped, ready, excited, peaceful, happy, in the know of what's going on in the beautiful world of social media. We have so much to unpack today. So what I thought we'd start doing every once in a while, at this point we might need this every single week, but I thought we would start doing little State of the Unions for each platform of TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, what is going on, news, updates, what's working, what's not working. Also do a bit of a vibe check, a temperature check of what is happening with social media, what's working overall on social media. So I'm so excited. And if you're new, by the way, welcome to Busy Blooming, your new digital social media office. You're in good hands over here. Every single week we go to work, we talk about content creation, social media, influencer marketing, the creator economy, and also the deeper side of all of this, because content creation, social media is that deep. And I'm so excited for today's episode. We have a lot to dive into today. So let's go to work together and let's have our first official State of the Union of social media. Before we get into the rest of the episode, I need to tell you about one of the best ways to take social media seriously, treat it like a business, and just simplify your journey, which is Taylor Brands. They are sponsoring today's video. I'm so excited. You guys know I am so obsessed with them. With Taylor Brands, you can simplify every step of starting, managing, and growing your social media business all in one place. For setting up your business, they have so many tools like LLC formation, EIN application, which helps you get your employer ID. They help you get your business licenses, your business permits. They also help you manage your business with tools like taxes and bookkeeping, business insurance, trademark registration, your business bank account, and they have tools that help you grow your business like a logo maker, website builder, branded merch, and digital business cards, which is so cool. They have everything you need to start, manage, and grow your business. Check out the link in my description or the pinned comment to get started with Taylor Brands today, and you'll get 35% off LLC plans. So let them handle the business setup while you can focus on creating and scaling your business. Thank you so much to Taylor Brands for sponsoring today's episode, and let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, before we get into each platform, like the TikTok ban, trial reels, the YouTube click-through rate, everything that's going on over there, we need to talk about the overall vibe of social media, influencer marketing, and like what the vibe currently is. So the first thing that needs to come across your desk is that influencer marketing, social media, the amount of money that brands are spending on creators, on podcasters, on sponsored posts on social media has never been bigger. But as of this week, a new report came out and it is changing. And I know you will find this interesting. In 2025, influencer marketing, the industry is projected to be $33 billion this year. But what I thought was even more interesting is that in all of that, TikTok, 17% of brands have dropped their TikTok budget to focus on other platforms like YouTube and like Instagram. So all that being said, the first thing we need to know today is that influencer marketing, content creation, social media is not dying. I feel like there's this weird fear-mongering energy on social media right now that it's too late or everything's happening too fast, or if you're not using ChatGPT or trial reels, or if you're not on every single social media platform, like you're a big loser and you're behind and it's never going to work. That is not the case. It is a beautiful thing to be on social media. We have time. It's growing every single year. It will continue to grow. Brands will continue to put money into podcasters, into creators, into influencers on different social media platforms. So we can all take a deep breath together and know social media is not dying. It's growing. Brands are spending more money. It actually also just came out this week that social media is the world's largest advertising channel over anything else. The global ad spend on social media right now is $266.9 billion. So it's a very exciting time. It's good. It's growing, but it's changing. And if you are somebody who's finding that whether you work for a brand, you're an influencer marketing manager, you're a creator yourself, a podcaster, and you're finding that the content that you used to post is not hitting the same, you are not alone. So many people are feeling that way. And there is no study for what I'm about to say, but this is just what I have observed, is that I think social media is changing so much right now because of our girl, ChatGPT. ChatGPT always has a desk at the busy, blooming office. And I think ChatGPT, AI in general, Google Gemini, whatever you use, but let's be real, it's probably ChatGPT. I think it is changing social media so much, not just because people are using ChatGPT for like ideas and content schedules and things like that, which we could do a whole video on that. But I think because ChatGPT, the way that we use, and by we I mean me included, use ChatGPT is so borderline psychotic that we are using it as our therapist, as our best friend, for advice, for tips, for our news, for our pop culture, for a fitness coach, how to lose weight, recipes, email templates as a content creator, content schedules. Like, we are using ChatGPT for so much that I think the things that we used to go to content creators and social media for, we are now going to ChatGPT for. So it's actually shifting rapidly the kind of content we're consuming. And it's also shifting rapidly what's working and what's not working on social media. Even things that I would have said, oh, you should do this 6 months ago, I would not recommend doing, because ChatGPT and the rise of it and the way people are using it has changed so much recently that we absolutely need to unpack. So what I think all this has done of how much people are using ChatGPT, and whether or not you think it's like ethical or whether or not you use it, it's just, it is what it is. People are using it all day, every day. I think what this is doing for creators, podcasters, brands, even businesses on social media is that it is making our personalities and our humanness, our human side of us, our biggest asset on social media. And so, for example, if someone wanted to get ahead and you are somebody who gives tips, or your podcast, your brand, your business, whatever, is about, let's say, weight loss, and there normally would be a post that would go out of, here are 10 tips to lose 10 pounds or something. That content just won't hit the way it used to, because people could go on ChatGPT and get like a customized plan, because we're getting all this like personalized, deep advice. Like, for some of us, no one knows us better than ChatGPT. And so what works instead, and if you want to get ahead, this is what I would do, is rather than saying, here's how to do this, or here's how you're going to do this, content that's like that human personality side of, I just lost 10 pounds. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. Here are all the mistakes that I made, or here's like the hardest part of it. It's showing that like messy, emotional, human side. And for every single type of content, social media right now, like personalities are the biggest asset. Like the messiness, the human side, the sense of humor, the experiences, the journeys, like that is what is really hitting on social media right now. And that has changed so fast. Even for me, as somebody who talks about social media and content, for example, like a few months ago, I could have made a video about here's what usage rights means, or here's what whitelisting means, or here's like an email template to email brands. But you don't need me for that. You don't need people to tell you that, because you can get an even better customized version on ChatGPT. And we're going to talk about social media platforms in a second, but I think it is so worth noting that what would work better is for me to say, here's what I charge when I had 10,000 followers, or here's what my friends are charging, or here's like the biggest mistake or like the ick I got when I did this one thing, or if you're feeling this way, it's okay, like to feel that way, because this is my experience and my story with brand deals. And if you've been noticing right now, I'm sure you've seen the trend of like the Lizzie McGuire or the narrator trend of like, this is Tess, she's 28. That trend is doing so well right now, specifically the videos that are about people's messy journey or like something they're trying to accomplish. We had Alyssa on the show 2 weeks ago in her episode where she was talking about, with every vlog or every piece of content, you need to have something you're trying to achieve, a conflict. The day in my life should be something more human, more messy, more real, more emotional, of like, let's see if I get my gym crush's attention rather than come to the gym with me. So anyways, the vibe check on social media right now, and this could change in 2 seconds, but right now I'm really noticing that on every platform, every podcast, every piece of content, for businesses, for brands, for creators, that like personal, messy, human content is working so much better than everything else. And that is like the best way to get ahead and have your content hit right now, is always asking yourself, could ChatGPT write this, or could somebody get a better piece of advice on this topic that's like personalized to them? And always adding in like your perspective, your experience, your story, like a human personality, sense of humor, messiness to it, rather than like, here are 10 ways to do X, Y, and Z, or just like a generic clip from a podcast about confidence. Like having your personality and you and all the amazing things about you is your biggest asset right now. So now let's get into each social media platform. We're going to talk today about YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And I wanted to go through some recent news, updates, and what's working and what's not working for each one. Super high level, super quick. Again, just so we know what needs to come across our desk at the office of social media. Let's begin with YouTube, where we have all gathered today, unless you're listening on Spotify. Let's go through a couple updates of recent, and then we'll get into what's working, the algorithm, like all that fun stuff. Obviously, if you know me, then you know I have a tumultuous love-hate relationship with the algorithm. I feel like it's one of those things that it's important to know as a creator and someone who works in social. Like, it's good to know, like, what's the algorithm favoring right now. But all that being said, as we always say over here, nothing will ever outperform content that people actually want to see and content people actually want to watch. So that's like the number one priority, is having like a really, really solid brand, a corner of social media, clear brand elements, like all of that. And then the best way to get that to people is more the algorithm. But all that being said, let's talk about it a little bit, because I do think it's important. So right now on YouTube, what's going on? YouTube, as of this year, is the biggest social media platform behind Facebook. So YouTube has a lot more monthly users than Instagram. I feel like it's just good to know that as a creator, that YouTube every single month has 2.7 billion monthly users and Instagram has 2 billion. YouTube is also having a moment right now. I did a post about this on the Busy Blooming Instagram. And by the way, everything we talk about today will be broken out on the Busy Blooming Instagram. But it just recently came out that last year in Q4, more people watched podcasts and listened to podcasts on YouTube than any other podcast platform, and more people watched YouTube on their TV than they watched Netflix. So YouTube is a gorgeous place to be for anybody in social media right now, and that just continues to grow and grow. YouTube just had its 20th anniversary. It is the longest standing social media platform, and I really do believe, this is just an opinion, but social media and the future of social media is in YouTube. I just feel like if YouTube really spent one afternoon, they really got together, like they could take over social media in 2 seconds. I feel like they are just working on other things, because shorts, we all know, like shorts has nothing on TikTok's algorithm, Instagram Reels algorithm right now. But the fact that YouTube is really owning podcasts, long form content, now they have short form content, like if they just put a little more effort into their shorts algorithm and like the profiles of having like stories and DMs and other things, I really do think they could completely monopolize social media, and they might one day. But all that being said, the biggest update that's just come out is just how many people are using YouTube and how many creators right now are flocking to YouTube. It's such a good place to be, and that does not mean it's oversaturated or it's too late. It just means that it's a really strong, sustainable strategy right now. Another update that just came out, which is kind of interesting, is that shorts, so when people watch shorts, it actually works towards your monetization requirements. So to be monetized in YouTube, like on the YouTube Partner Program, you need 4,000 watch hours, and now shorts actually counts towards your 4,000 watch hours, but only if people watch your shorts on your channel. Speaking of shorts, if you are somebody who's finding that your shorts are flopping, they're not thriving, you're like, what am I doing wrong with shorts? Like, they are not hitting. I personally do think the algorithm on YouTube Shorts is probably the weakest out of all the short form platforms. It reminds me a lot, I think I've said this before, of like TikTok in 2020, of like really high level, kind of like low value content. Not saying if your shorts are working, they're low value, but it's not those like deep videos or vlogs or anything you need a lot of context on. It's content that can be very widely received, like very high level. And I do think that will change. I want to just say, if you're somebody who's finding, like I would say majority of people, that your shorts don't really do that well, I do think it's a bit of an algorithm problem. Go to your favorite podcast YouTube channel and look at the shorts performance. They probably don't do that well. And I do think that will change over time. The more people that get on it, the algorithm can only train on what it has, and not that many people are posting on shorts the same way that they post on Instagram Reels and TikTok. But again, I think that will change. And the more people that go on shorts over the years, this year, next year, I think the algorithm will get better. But I wouldn't put too much pressure on it. I kind of like to treat shorts as a bonus, like reposting platform, rather than having content that's originally created for YouTube Shorts. But YouTube is putting a lot of effort in to YouTube Shorts right now. They just had a new update that came out. You can literally create your own music, royalty-free music on Shorts if you type in like jazzy vlog or whatever. They also just updated the UI. Like, they're putting in time and effort, but I do think over time YouTube still will be like the place to be, and I think Shorts will get better. But I just wanted to say, if you are having your Shorts flop right now, don't worry about it. That's just a reposting platform. That's how I view it. It's good to be on and link your long form videos if you're on YouTube, but I wouldn't worry about it too much right now. Okay, Okay, let's talk about what's actually working on YouTube and like the algorithm, what's going on. So right now, and I think I've said this before, but YouTube, the reason videos do better than others is basically completely dependent on two things. First and foremost is the click-through rate. And this is a little bit different than how the algorithm used to be. User behavior on YouTube is just changing a lot too. But right now, what really matters is at the end of the day, if a video comes up on somebody's home page when they first log into YouTube, the percentage of people that click on that video, that is what pushes out the video the most. And secondly is when someone watches a video, how long they watch it for pushes it out. But the click-through rate and the percentage of people that click on it is like the number one. And so what I'm finding is actually working. And again, YouTube is kind of matching this like personal, casual, human shift that we just talked about. And I do think that the content that's working the best right now on YouTube, what is getting people to click the most, is this more casual YouTube. It's when the title is like one sentence, really bold, really out there. The thumbnail is very minimal. We've been doing a lot of A/B testing. I'm sure you know this, but on YouTube, when you upload a thumbnail, you can upload 3 thumbnails and YouTube will like ABC test which one does better over 2 weeks. It's so interesting that the simplest thumbnails that are like mainly a screenshot are doing better. And so many people I work with and talk to, they're finding the same. Like the minimal thumbnail era is making a comeback, which is so nice. But I'm finding that titles that are very casual, like rather than doing like working in my life vlog, having one sentence that's like casual, almost like an anti-YouTube title of I had a big crash at this week and a mental breakdown and let's have it together, like something like that. I've even been seeing people put like brackets and lots of exclamation points and like kind of making a joke about the title. That's doing so well right now. I think again, it's from the use of AI, ChatGPT, the need for that like human comfort connection, I feel like just does better. Even if you do give more advice, so you have a podcast of advice, having that title strategy, the thumbnail strategy, I do still think does better. If you are somebody who's been creating for a long time, like you've been on YouTube for like 5 years, 10 years, it is actually harder for people like us, myself included, to navigate social media because we have to do such deep unlearning of what works and what doesn't work. Because we are programmed as creators who have been on this platform for so long that you need to have a searchable title, you need to have a specific thumbnail, you need to do a working in my life or a day in my life, or have your videos packaged and positioned and formatted a certain way. And my biggest piece of advice and what I've seen is working right now on YouTube is that break all the rules that you ever thought worked. There is no formula that you need to be following. Casual, human, messy content is just what is really performing well. So we can do a whole deep dive video if you want more into YouTube and my experience and what I've seen. If you'd like, let me know. Let me know down below. But for right now, those are the updates on YouTube and it's very exciting. It's a good place to be right now on social media. Now let's talk about the next platform, the platform everybody loves to hate, has a love-hate relationship with, which is Instagram. So Instagram has a lot going on all the time. I actually worked for 9 or 10 months last year with Instagram creators, which was the coolest thing ever. It was the most amazing partnership of my life. Every single week I would do a video with them on their TikTok, sometimes on their Instagram, about new product updates, feature updates. It was so cool to meet with the team at Meta, at Instagram creators, all the time about like what's going on. So I feel like I have this deep appreciation. I don't work with them anymore, so this is like not affiliated with them in any way, but I feel like I have a deeper appreciation for Instagram creators and like the thought and the effort that is put behind helping creators. And so something else I learned is that they have new features going out all the time, like every single second of the day. I feel like there's like a new feature, a new update or something. So the two biggest changes that people who work in social media really need to know is that trial reels came out in December of 2024. And then also very recently, edits came out. And so let's first talk about edits super quick. Edits is basically just CapCut's twin. Edits is an editing app. It's free on the App Store. CapCut for a second there back in January when TikTok was banned, CapCut was also, you weren't able to use it in the US. Now you can use CapCut in the US, but I do believe, I'm not in the US, but I do believe you can't download it from the App Store, but if you have it on your phone, you can use it. But anyways, because of all of that, and of course the whole TikTok ban meta of it all, it goes so much deeper than social media, which we will talk about. But Edits has just come out from Instagram. It's very similar to CapCut. It's an editing app. It's free. And so that is new. And then also trial reels came out in December of 2024. I just want to say, over here at Busy Blooming, this is a safe space for your trial reels to be absolutely flopping. I do really want to spend some time testing out trial reels more. I've done one. It had 3 views, and so many people I've talked to have had the same experience. Like, everyone is like, how are these people getting 10 million views in the trial reels? So if you are somebody at the Busy Blooming office, please let us know in the comments if you have had success with trial reels. I will spend some more time looking into it, trying them out, doing some trials. But I just want you to know, it is like the whispers in the world of social media is that, like, what actually are those? Some people also have lost the feature, but for context, just so you know, trial reels, people are pretty much using it, I find, to either rebrand their accounts. So if you want to completely change your brand, what you talk about, people are putting out a bunch of content every day to people who don't follow them, so they get new followers, so they don't lose followers. Also, people are using trial reels to just like test out different types of content. I'm going to be honest, trial reels I feel like is not for me. It's not something that I personally want to be using, but for the sake of research purposes, I will be looking into it more and like trying the logic why people would use it. So I'll be diving deeper into that at a different time, but edits actually looks amazing. Like, honestly, I would use it if you don't have CapCut. But now let's talk about what is working on Instagram. I feel like Instagram is one of those platforms that you either love it or you hate it, or some content blows up, some it gets nothing. And what I'm finding right now, just super high level, is what is still working out of everything is carousels are the number one outperforming piece of content. We've been talking about Instagram a lot over here, and we've been talking a lot about carousels. I actually have a bunch of free templates you can download in the 30-day Instagram challenge video. But right now, carousels are still outperforming everything. I've been talking about why a lot recently. But something else that's interesting is that still carousels are number one, but also saves and shares are the number one indicator of something that will get pushed out more is saves and shares over likes and comments. Like, likes and comments just don't matter as much as they used to. So kind of an overview of the technical side of the algorithm of Instagram is that carousels and reels both go in the reels feed, and that feed is designed to go to people who don't follow you, which again, going back to trial reels, I'm like, why would you want to post something so much that you don't want your followers to see at all, unless you're trying to rebrand your account? I don't, like, to me, I'm like, whatever, side note, we'll look more into trial reels. But so if you want to go on Instagram, the types of content is carousels and reels. Reels that are under 3 minutes go out to people who don't follow you. If it's over 3 minutes, it only goes to your followers. That's how it works right now. And so what actually matters is if people save it, if they share it. What I'm finding on Instagram is that people are getting extremely fatigued of like the basic generic, again, like ChatGPT coded content of like 10 ways to do this, or like super long captions that have a bunch of tips. To me, personally, I find that's a bit of an outdated strategy, is to put all of your advice, all your tips in the caption. What I think is a refresh, good strategy for right now, again, this could change, is using a carousel that people could swipe through that's very personal and very bold and very human. So having like pictures of you that doesn't have any graphics, I'm finding, I've been testing the graphics a little bit, and just personally, I'm finding that the content that has full pictures with a little bit of text does better than stuff that has like a color background, if that makes sense. But having these like human carousels of like the biggest flops I had, or like going through my flop era and everything I learned, and like pictures of you with text on it, rather than like a color background with like just text and emojis and things like that. But that is ultimately the technical side of what's working still, is carousels and reels. I still find that reels that are shorter, like 8 seconds, do better. And again, adding this like sense of humor, unserious side to all of your content is just what's winning right now on social media. So that's what's working right now. You guys know me, like, I love a good strategy of content ideas and a content calendar and like what to do and content pillars and all of that. If you want another Instagram version, again, let me know. We can totally do that. But I want to quickly talk about threads as well and just have that come across our desk. Threads, I feel like, is a similar thing to YouTube Shorts. Like, don't have a whole fresh thread strategy, YouTube Short strategy, but I would actually use threads right now because it just came out last week that threads now have ads. So you can actually do a sponsored post, like you could boost a post on threads, which shows me that Meta is putting a lot of like money and thought and effort in to threads, so they don't think it's going anywhere. So what I would do right now, regardless if you're a brand podcast creator, is I would use threads, but I would post on it and screenshot it and turn that into a carousel. I feel like that's one of the best ways to just be really smart with your time, high ROI, is write a thread of like, here are the biggest mistakes I've made or whatever, quotes that change your life, and then screenshot all of them. Just use your Instagram stories, make a carousel, download it. But so you're still getting on threads, but then you're still on Instagram getting the best type of content, carousels that perform the best. So not having like a whole thread strategy, but using it and posting on it, but then using those posts for content on Instagram. That is a quick, really high level snapshot of what's working, the current updates on Instagram. And again, as always, use the comment section of an extension. If you were finding that anything you're posting right now is working really well or not working, please let us know in the comments and we will unpack. Now let's talk about TikTok. I honestly feel bad for TikTok right now. I feel like it's just so on the out. Like even brands are pulling back their TikTok ad spend budget. So of course for today of the State of the Union of TikTok, we need to talk about the TikTok ban. And I am very aware that the TikTok ban is so much deeper than social media and TikTok and being an influencer and all of that. The TikTok ban is extremely political and extremely deep, especially recently with tariffs and China. And there's a lot of moving pieces over there. So from a social media perspective, what we need to know is that currently what is happening with the TikTok ban is that it is just delayed. We all remember the gaslighting of January 19th, 2025, when TikTok was banned for 2 seconds. I feel like we do not talk enough about the banning of TikTok. The way that we were behaving, people were ruining their entire brand and business, was so interesting and something that should be studied, honestly. So TikTok was banned in January, and then it came back, and it was only supposed to come back for 75 days, but then it got extended. And so I feel like right now, people in brands and everybody is kind of thinking the same thing of what is going on TikTok. Like, should I post on it? Is it going to get banned? What is going on? And of course, this ban is only happening in the US, but the ban happening in the US, I feel like if it actually does get banned, it will never be the same for the influencer marketing, creator economy, all of that. That's where like all of the users, for the most part, all the brands spending money, like it just is the centerpiece of TikTok. So yes, it wouldn't be banned in Canada and other places, but I just feel like TikTok wouldn't be like the same. Anyways, the current status is that TikTok, the ban of it all, is on hold. And on April 17th was the most recent update that I've seen, which is that it is in quotes that the TikTok ban will just delay until things work out. Long story short, we don't know what's happening with the TikTok ban and nobody does. And the reason, of course, this is so much deeper is because of the tariffs in China and the US and TikTok being a chess piece in all of this. So long story short, what we need to know in the world of social media is that we don't know when it's going to get banned. So as of now, what I'd recommend in terms of content, social media, is that I would not prioritize TikTok as like my number one platform. I would honestly focus on creating unique content for Instagram and really trying to grow your Instagram and grow your YouTube, because that's where users are going to. That's where brands are spending more money. TikTok is just so volatile. I just feel like as creators, as brands, as podcasters, it's so good to be on while it's here. Definitely post on it. Don't delete it or anything. But I wouldn't solely post on it TikTok, if that makes sense. I would have other platforms like YouTube, like Instagram going on. And TikTok is like a bonus, fun platform to be on, enjoy it while it's here. But we really just don't know what's going to happen. So I wouldn't put like all of my eggs in one basket on TikTok, is basically what I'm saying. But I don't think it's dead. I think people are still growing every single day. People do brand deals on there every single day. It's thriving. It's good right now, but it could go in 2 seconds. So I just wouldn't invest all of my content and time into that solely. One more update on TikTok that recently came out that I actually have been noticing is that TikTok is favoring shorter videos again. So test it out. Try like 8-second videos, 6-second videos on TikTok rather than 3 minutes and 1 minute, and see if it's working, because I do find that is working better. It's kind of, again, giving like 2020 TikTok energy. Okay, I think that is the current state of the union. The updates, the news, what's working, the technical side, the vibe, all of it of social media as of today. I feel like we need these state of the unions at Busy Blooming all the time, because social media is starting to feel more technical nowadays. Like people are emphasizing more the technical part, and it can be very overwhelming. So I hope you feel in the know. I hope you feel like what's come across your desk needed to come across your desk. And this was so much fun. So So as always in the comments, let us know what's working for you. What are you feeling? What are you thinking? What at Busy Blooming do you want more of? What do we need to work on every single week? And as always, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to join Busy Blooming. That closes off our State of the Union for today. Work is over. And as always, thank you again to Taylor Brands for sponsoring today's video. Check out the pinned comment or the link in the description for 35% off LLC plans. And I will see you guys next week. Okay, bye.